Hi, everybody. I wanted to connect with you today about twin flames and past life regression. Um, and sorry, I have I have a little kitten at my feet. And with my twin flame situation in particular, it the feelings that surround the relationship are very specific. They're not ancient, although I do feel like I can sense those lifetimes as well. There's one particular period of time that I was really, you know, drawn to right before my twin came into my life. And then when I met him, it just felt like we were in that era. And so not just that, but I started to feel like I had glimmers, not of situations or circumstances, but of that time frame. I wanted to watch every movie, anything that had to do with this time frame, or this feeling. I wanted to just bask in it. And you might be feeling that way too. So for us, or for me, it was the 1500s, just coming out of the medieval era period. And I had never been enthralled with that era before. And for about 3 or 4 months leading up to meeting him, I became obsessed with it. And then I met him, and it's just it clicked. So I called a hypnotherapist to see if I could do a individual past life regression session. And she was like, well, if you've never been under hypnosis before, it may or may not be effective, and sort of put me off. So I decided to hold off on that and to do some past life regressions on my own, using YouTube, guides. And Brian Weiss is wonderful. And so I'm going to put a link of his in the description of this video. So if you want to try it, it's a really simple, fairly short, past life regression session that he guides you to, that you can do at home. And it's perfectly safe. And it really just, if you've never done it before, it just feels like a deep meditative state. You're still fully aware. It's safe. You can come out of it whenever you want. You almost question whether you're, under hypnosis, because you go so deep, but you're still so aware. So anyhow, the first time I did that, I did feel like I had success, and that led me to, and I think I talked about this in another segment, was it took me to exactly that era. Exactly. Oftentimes the era that you'll go to, or the lifetime that you'll go to, will be what is drawing the lines of connection to this current situation that you're in. So there is always going to be a message for you there. Okay, so there's a reason that you'll get that taken back to that particular lifetime. It somehow pertains to what's going on right now. And so it was quite interesting for me, because I think I spoke in a previous segment that I saw this woman. It was definitely the 1500s, I think, early. And it was like a European town, and she was some sort of a nobility, but she was very approachable, and everybody liked her. And she walked around as if she was a commoner. However, you saw and felt the respect towards her, but she didn't, there was no differentiation for her. She was very powerful. She was very much in her power. With one look, one glance, she was extremely powerful, the way she walked and looked, but well liked. And she was all loving, and sort of had that all knowing way about her. And so when the meditation, or the session, took me to the most important point in her life, I saw that she was actually sitting beside a king or some nobility on his throne. They were in sort of velvety garb, attire, even more fancy than I had first seen her. And he was significantly older than she was, in grayish hair, but again, a well-liked, respected figure. I don't know if it was a king or some sort of nobility. And they had this way of, ruling together and being together. And that's really all I got from it. I saw like sort of the last days of her life and didn't know much more. So a couple more times I went in, sort of got more pieces, more fragments of very similar situations or almost the same situation. So last week I did a past life regression workshop in person with a group of people and a guided with a hypnotherapist, a very renowned woman. And sure enough, I go back to the same lifetime, but this time I find more. And I find that as a young girl, this girl received a gift from her father that was a horse, and that was the symbol of, freedom for her. Even though in that day and age women didn't really ride horses, they were just starting to. They would learn their father's trade, but they would, I researched this after, but they would really ride side saddle. So this to her was like the ultimate empowerment thing. And what I got from the whole past life regression session was that she married this older nobleman, king or whomever, and she was riding horses around the property, and and that came to be that she was after the power. And even though he was a nice man, but they didn't have like a love. And the love that she found was with somebody who worked in their estate, and he wasn't like he was more at like a page or servant level. And I take this to be who my twin is now. And it was like really eye-opening for me, because what I found out about her lifetime was that she never had children. She never got to be with that younger man. Like, they would sneak away and find times to be with one another, and there was a lot of passion, and the nobleman knew that she was in love with him. It was like this unspoken thing. But she created a life of power, and that's what she got. And it was fine, but it wasn't filled with love. And the love that she wanted was, at a different class than her. And neither ever brought her children, and neither ever brought her a fulfilling love. So the hypnotherapist, as she's taking you through it, asks you to, once you go through the whole lifetime to like the last day of that person's life, they have you ask that person, what do you want to tell me? Like, what did you learn? What were your most poignant lessons from this lifetime? And this beautiful woman told me that she said very poignantly, put love first. And she said, I didn't, she said, I didn't get the chance to love in the way that I was destined to, because I, put other things first. And she felt like she wasted time. And I felt a longing of that. She did want children, and never an unfulfilled need and desire that never came to be. So regret and remorse. So anyhow, just wanted to share that piece with you, because to me it's really eye-opening, especially for the current situation, especially for right now, for so many reasons. And all it causes is deep contemplation on my side. What does this mean for me? And you'll do the same thing. What does this mean for you? How do you connect the dots? Even in the days to follow, you may be in your waking self and your conscious self going through life and get aha moments. Like, you might see someone that's a puzzle piece, or something happens and you're like, oh yeah, that's what this means. That's why this is all playing out this way. And there's actually somebody that introduced me to my twin flame, and I believe, I do feel deeply like he was the nobleman or the king in that lifetime. And so that's why there is this connection there. So, if anything, it causes you to think. It sheds enlightenment. It can shed a lot of light onto the current situation, and I highly recommend it if you're interested in exploring it at all. Um, and there may be valuable lessons in there that you would miss if you don't explore it. Um, so, anyhow, I hope that sharing my story helped entice you. I think it was so interesting for me, and I certainly want to keep going back in and trying to explore the same lifetime further. Um, so I'll provide the link to the Brian Weiss past life regression session in this video, and let me know if you have any great stories or revelations in your process. Okay, thanks. Have a great day.